Yeah, from a rural Lutheran church of 35 people, yeah, to a non-denominational youth group, to InterVarsity, to an Assemblies of God church, to Catholic Christian Brothers School, to a Jesuit school, ultimately landing at World Vision with that kind of plurality of a background. I've had lots of different church experiences in my life, mostly centered around music and the engagement of my body. And I found the most formative experience in my life has been the literal sacrificing of my body to get from the start line to the finish line of endurance races and bring clean water access to some of the most underserved communities in the world. That has been, for me, one of the clearest expressions of Christ on earth. And what I learned through all of that is two things as I worked to gather church communities to do this with me. The Spirit of God is living and active, and it is moving in churches of every denomination, of every size, and every location in this country. No matter what statistic you hear about how the church is in decline or falling apart, I have personal eyes to tell you that there is a God who is moving people that you wouldn't believe from the start line to the finish line of a race sacrificially to bring clean water and access of resource to people who are in desperate need. It's amazing. The second thing I learned about church is that it's really, really, really messy. Sometimes in harmful ways. After 12 years of that work, I needed a break. I was seeking a time of restful restoration, personally becoming part of a place that I could call a home church, where I wasn't bouncing around from church Sunday to Sunday to Sunday, trying to get people to do this crazy thing. My wife and I and my 3 kids found myself at a really small church community in Minneapolis. And unfortunately, the messiness of church was there also. Brokenness in leadership led to a fast disintegration of that community after about 2 years, where we felt like we had found a place that we could trust and rest, and we were wrong about that. Probably people in this room have experienced that kind of pain. It was about 3 months later that we stepped into Las Estrellas. And I told my wife I needed a place where I could rest and where I could be truly cared for and restored. And since then, I just want to share 3 moments. Last year in January, there was a public invitation to join some of the serving teams. And I felt, after listening to Pastor Donna speak very clearly from stage about what God was saying to people in the building, I was sitting right up there and filled out the form online to join the worship team. And Ashish auditioned me and thankfully offered me an opportunity to do that. So now I get to sometimes sing and play here. In February, just a month after that, the World Vision staff here in the Twin Cities reached out to me in love and asked me if I would lead the team for Team World Vision here at this community. I was pretty unsure about that. But I said yes, because I'm a yes person. And last year, this community stepped up and raised $50,000 for clean water projects around the world. And finally, my daughter, my middle daughter, entered 6th grade last fall. And so she graduated out of kids' church. It's really nice. Her first service, she's sitting next to me, kind of right next to that camera up there. And it was time for communion. And so Pastor Adobe came up and she was sharing about communion. And my daughter leaned over and she said, "Dad, what does all this mean?" I wish I had words was in that moment I just broke down. And God bless her, she put her hand on my shoulder. She said, "It's okay, Dad. I get it. I get it." "You do? Could you explain it to me?" So that was how my daughter took communion for the first time. This place, these people, caring for others, creating a true center for belonging, paved a path for these moments for me. And these moments have become waypoints in my life. You know, my only hope is that as long as God has me here, that I would be a person who can pave those paths for others. Thanks.